Hey Sainters, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to Saints TV Weekly, August 1st, 2022, Monday afternoon. Hope you're all going well. Hope you've all had a great weekend. It was a good weekend for the Sainters. We got the win. We got the win against Hawthorn. It was 12 points. Some results went our way, some didn't. But overall, we finished the round in 8th place, and that's all we really need to take away from the weekend. The performance itself, very similar to the week before. Very up and down, a bit of good, a bit of bad, a bit of ugly. But the consistent thing out of the last 2 weeks is that we walk away with the 4 points, and that puts us in 8th position on the ladder with 3 games to go, Sainters. Geelong away, Brisbane at home, Sydney at home. 3 games against 3 top 5 teams. It is going to be a battle, but hopefully one that the team is up for. But in terms of the game on the weekend, it was round 20. It was Hawthorn, 4:35 Saturday afternoon at Marvel. We win by 12, 75 to 63. Rowan Marshall taking the best on ground medal, having 30 disposals for the first time in his career. On top of that, I think he had 21 kicks, 9 marks, 7 tackles, and 35 hitouts. So a huge effort from Ron Marshall there. His best performance in Saints colours that I've seen live. And then on top of that, Jack Still, Brad Crouch, Seb Ross, they all came to the party. They all had pretty big games as well. And in terms of the back line, solid as always, apart from the pressure that was put on it in the last quarter. That was mainly due to our lacking in tackling pressure, just pressure in general across the ground, mainly the midfield. And our forwards had a lot of chances. Max King notably, 2 goals, 5. Didn't take his chances, but again, he had a lot of chances, 7 to be exact, and could have been a big day for him, but unfortunately it wasn't. But the key thing to take out of that game is that we got the win. It was a bit ugly in the end, but we did get out to a 44-point lead. We did play some good football in the middle part of that game. We just couldn't sustain it in the 4th term, and whether that was to do with complacency or maybe to do with the 6-day break coming back from Perth, we don't know, but hopefully we can lift and bring our best in the next 3 weeks, because we know that we absolutely need to be at our best to make finals from here. In the lead up to the game, unfortunately, we did have to make a couple of changes. Gresham is pretty much out for the year, I believe, and you've got Jack Billings as well. Gresham's out for the season with a knee injury, which really sucks because he's so important to us, and it just feels like anytime he gets some sort of consistency in his performances, he's back out of the team. And then Jack Billings has got a bit of a back problem. He, at the moment, is listed as to be confirmed. So it could be 2 weeks, could be more. Waiting on the club to announce that. And then on top of that, we've got Dan McKenzie, 2 to 3 weeks away. And then Paddy Ryder, 4 to 5 weeks away. So Paddy's pretty much done for the season, unless we do the unthinkable and make a grand final. And D-Mac could be back for the first week of finals if we do end up making it. He's listed at 2 to 3 weeks. With Dougal Howard, 1 week as of last week, so he's a chance this weekend to come back against Geelong and take on Tom Hawkins and Jeremy Cameron, which would be a massive boost for us going into that game. And Max Heath back at VFL, he had a week off for concussion. They had the bye this week, so he'll be back hopefully in the next week to play again. In terms of some good contract news, Cooper Sharman and Ben Patton have inked contracts that will take them to St Kilda until the end of 2024, so a further 2 years for them. It's awesome because we love both of them. I know I do. Cooper Sharman I rate very highly, and you look at his game on the weekend and it feels like he's that type of player that will just do whatever's needed for the team, whether he plays forward or he plays back. He's just a team first focused player. And then you've got Ben Patton. I think he had 25 disposals on the weekend, and that was probably one of his best games for the club as well, off the back of signing that 2-year deal. And we know that Patto is very important to our structure. He can take the small forwards and do a very good job on them. And he's the sort of guy that doesn't really care about getting any sort of recognition. He just loves getting the job done. And every good team needs to have a good small defender like Ben Patton. So great to have those 2 signed on. On top of that, also, we can't forget Dan Butler has signed on for a further 2 years as well. So that's pretty much straight off the back of the West Coast game after he kicked 5 goals and had his best performance of the year, close to his best performance of the last 2 years, to be honest, since 2020. So it's really good to sign Dan on there. I'm still a bit iffy about whether we did it a bit too early, and it would have been nice to have him, I don't know, fight for that for another couple of weeks and then sign him on in the off season. But they've probably had him signed on weeks prior, and they were waiting for him to have a big game to announce it, and he did that against West Coast, and they announced it straight after. So no coincidence there. He's played 56 of a possible 59 games since joining St Kilda, so he's one to turn up every single week and get listed in that forward pocket position. And from those 59 games, he's kicked 63 goals, not to mention a goal on the weekend as well against Hawthorn. So great to have those players signed on. I think it's really important, on top of Rowan Marshall as well, that we get that done. And I don't think that leaves too many to sign on in the off-season. We've obviously got Paddy Ryder, the likes of Dan Hanbury, who returned on the weekend, which was great. And I didn't mention that in the intro, but Dan Hanbury, 27 disposals on return, which is great. But there's a few players there that will be looking at the end of the year and thinking, I could get another 1-year deal, maybe 2 years if I play my cards right and I play some good football. So good to get those players locked in, because to me, I see, Marshall, Paddo, Sharman, these sort of blokes, even Windy, Owens, Nasiah, these sort of players are the future. They're really the foundation of where this club can go, and they're going to have to drive that next wave of St Kilda success. So great to have them all signed on. For us, it really is about stability, and getting these players signed is definitely that. Now, similar to last week, no questions, unfortunately, because we're going to get straight into player ratings. We're putting it in this video again. Due to timings, we couldn't get a separate video of player ratings. So the player ratings this week is going to be right now. So hopefully you enjoy it. And obviously, as always, comment your player ratings. If you disagree, great. If you agree, great. Comment your thoughts. Who was your best on ground? Who needed to improve? And we'll create a discussion in the comments. We'll go straight from the top, and we'll go with Rowan Marshall. Don't even need to go there. 10 out of 10. That was a perfect performance from Rowe. 30 disposals. Awesome effort. Tim Membry, 1 goal, 16 disposals, 9 marks. Solid game from Membry. It was his 150th, so great to get a win in that. To me, I think that was a solid game from him without being absolutely outstanding. But I'd give Skunk a 7 out of 10. I thought he worked around the ground pretty well. Max King, 2 goals, 5, 18 disposals, 7 marks. If that 2 goals 5 is 5 goals 2, and the rest of the stats stay the same, that's close to a 9 or a 10 out of 10 performance from Kingy. But 2 goals 5, bit of a struggle there. He had a lot of the ball, took a lot of marks. I'm going to give him a 6. I think a couple of those goals were gettable, and even a 3 goals 2 performance would have been a bit better. But 2 goals 5, he had his chances, just didn't take them. Jared Leanett, 1 point, 13 disposals, a bit quiet, but took 6 marks and worked around the ground and did lay 6 tackles. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Ben Long, 14 disposals, 6 tackles. I thought he was really good, Long. I thought his pressure was great. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I just love the way he goes about it. He's a low disposal player, but high impact player, and I love that about him. Mason Wood, again, 18 disposals and 1 goal. I feel like that's his sweet spot. He gets the 18 to 22 disposals and always finds a way to kick a goal. That's a 7 out of 10 for me. Dan Hanbury, 1 goal, 27 disposals. Great on return. I don't think he could have done much better. And the fact that it was 342 days since his last AFL game, that to me is an 8 out of 10 performance. I really was impressed with the way he went. I would have been, not surprised if he had, been slow to get back into the swing of things, but he was straight off the bat, 10 disposals, and he was off and running from that point on in the first quarter. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Cal Wilkie, 14 disposals, 5 marks. Bit of a quiet game, but again, the back line stood tall and only conceded, I think, the 9 goals for the day, so job done there. I'll give him a 6. Josh Battle, very similar, 13 disposals. I'll give him a 6 as well. Jack Higgins, 1 goal, 15 disposals, 4 marks. Not bad. Started really well and then kind of got quiet as the game went on. That's a 6 out of 10 for me. Mitchie Owens, 1 goal, 11 disposals, 4 marks. But it's what he did around the ground at ground level and then how he used his body in one-on-ones to take a couple of good contested marks. I'm going to give him a 7. Just, the stats-wise don't show it, but if you watch the game, his impact around the contest was more than just his possessions. So I'm going to give him a 7. Dan Butler, 1 goal, 11 disposals, bit of a quiet game from him. I'm going to give him a 6. Ben Patton, 25 disposals, 3 marks and 5 tackles. That's a great effort. That's an 8 out of 10 for me. One of his best games in St Kilda colours. Seb Ross, 1 goal and 26 disposals, 7 tackles on top of that. 8 out of 10 for me. Jack Sinclair, 24 and 3 marks. Bit of a quiet game. I don't know if it was just, he was being tagged or something, but not at his absolute best, but he was still very clean with the footy, so that's a 7 for me. Jimmy Webster, only the 12 and 1 tackle, not his best game. I'll give him a 5. Hunter Clark, 22 disposals, 2 marks, and 1 tackle. That's a really good performance from Clark, and I think that's him getting back to what we expect from him every week after half-back flank. I'll give him a 7. Windhager, only the 11, but he still did a couple of special things, so I'll give him a 6. Crouch, I think he was probably my next best behind Marshall. 30 disposals, 1 goal and 11 tackles. That's a 9 out of 10 for me. Brad Hill, 15 and 4 tackles. Quiet game again from Bradley. That's a 5 out of 10. Sharman, 8 disposals and 1 mark and 1 tackle. Quiet game, but did a few nice things and spoiled the ball out of bounds when he needed to. So that to me is what he's there for. But it would be good to see him get a bit more of the ball in the back line and kind of use his kicking ability. So I'll give him a 5 as well. Steely, 31 with 1 mark, surprisingly, and 6 tackles. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. And then Ryan Burns didn't play. He was the sub in the game. So those are my player ratings, Sainers. That is Saints TV Weekly for another week. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video. Please comment your thoughts in terms of the news or how you're feeling about the club. In the next 3 weeks, we've got the Cats, we've got the Lions, we've got the Swans. Big games, all 3 of them. Can we win 2 of those to make finals? Do you think we're a chance? And in terms of player ratings, who was your best on ground? And give me your thoughts about the performances on the weekend. But until then, Sainers, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. Let's get to 4,000 by the end of the year. And a special mention, a little plug to the Bentley Social, our new sponsor of the Saints TV podcast. We'll be hosting the 4th edition of Saints TV Disco Saturday night football at the Bentley Social for the Saints Geelong's game. So keep an eye out for the event details on Facebook later today. And if you want to come along, just hit RSVP on the Facebook event, and that locks in a position on Saturday night to enjoy some drinks, 10% off food, all that stuff, and hopefully a massive, it'd be a crazy Saints win against the Cats in Geelong on Saturday night. But anyway, Sainers, thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week, and as always, go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.